Allora, grazie innanzitutto per questo invito, questa iniziativa che è un'iniziativa che mi trova particolarmente affezionata. Il Mediterraneo per l'Italia è più di un dovere, una necessità, è quel mare che non ci divide ma che ci unisce. Dai popoli del Mediterraneo noi siamo un popolo mediterraneo. Il Sahel è un'area vastissima, oltre 3 milioni di chilometri quadrati, è un'area forse una delle più povere del mondo. Parlerò per bullets, lancerò dei temi sulla discussione politica, mi hanno detto di essere breve e lo farò. È un crocevia di scambi, ahimè non tutti illeciti, che riguarda circa una decina di paesi. Oggi per l'Europa e per l'Italia il Sahel è un'area strategica, è una priorità soprattutto per la cooperazione allo sviluppo e per la sicurezza. Ma se vogliamo usare il linguaggio della verità, siamo in grande ritardo. Per anni non ci siamo reso conto, o meno ci siamo accorti troppo tardivamente, che le sfide erano sfide verticali e che passavano dal Sahel fino alla sponda del Mediterraneo per arrivare fino a noi. Questa consapevolezza, seppur in ritardo e anche in presenza di una strategia integrata che dal 2021 riguarda appunto il Sahel, è ancora a tratti parziale. Dico questo perché sebbene la crisi del Sahel sia stata definita giustamente una crisi multidimensionale, poiché vede intrecciarsi problematiche che vanno dalla sicurezza alla politica, a questioni etniche, economiche e di sviluppo, a fronte di istituzioni fragilissime, un'importante crescita demografica e sfide climatiche che sono sempre più difficili. Ho sentito parlare moltissimo negli incontri di oggi di disertificazione che sta sempre più avanzando. Non è ancora pienamente maturata la consapevolezza, vengo da 2 giorni a Bruxelles, che proprio nell'area del Mediterraneo allargato e Mediterraneo profondo si consuma un pezzo non marginale del conflitto russo-ucraino, che non solo rileva devastanti effetti, parlo della crisi per possibile carestia alimentare, ma anche perché alcuni possibili effetti della guerra in Ucraina hanno effetti dirompenti nel Mediterraneo. Tutto anche perché in realtà come la Libia, il Burkina Faso, il Mali registrano una sempre
are
più crescente
seeing a strong Russian presence, both military and in terms of campaigns, information campaigns that want to destabilize Europe by putting at stake the European system. The lack of a Pacific Mediterranean area that works for the progress and the development of its resources will not make possible for us to speak about the future. So the Mediterranean area should be the core of a complex strategy that aims to create stability all over the political aspects. It is an awareness that we have in Italy as well as in Europe and that we have to share with the other countries. Another important topic is the European competition. We have to say that over the years, the Mediterranean area saw the confrontation and more than that, the fight between the different states. So the collaboration we have tried to implement so far has not been successful for us. I'm thinking about Libya, France, and the fact that they have worked towards different objectives, resulting in no success for anyone. Of course, the local regional context also affected this kind of issues, but mostly it was due to the lack of common and mutual objectives and the lack of a joint plan for these countries. Now we are facing the important need to develop a coordinated and joint strategy, not only in terms of security, migration, fight against terrorism, but focused on activities that can only be reached through real partnerships. Now, in Sahel, we have many strategical priorities in terms of foreign politics in Italy, along with other countries, but more than them, Italy is the first country affected by the instability in this region. I don't want to be critical, but Italy has been left alone towards all the issues resulting from the lack of development in the sub-Saharan and Sahel areas. This is the lack of awareness on behalf of the European institutions that I was mentioning before at the very beginning of my speech. What I think is that we need to commit to these issues with a multi-dimensional commitment. We need to be able to respond to the crisis with our missions, and I'm thinking about EUTOM in Mali. Cooperation remains the only tool available to tackle foreign difficulties. And of course, it is an important tool to act in a systematic way. As far as the cooperation is involved, as you know, thanks to the Italian government and the commitment of the minister, Mr. Tajani, Italy is committing towards the European Union by employing the Marshall Plan. Let me be pragmatic here. I find it difficult for the European Union right now to put in place a prompt plan in this sense. So I want to launch a proposal. It would be better to allow a single country to work on its budget policies in terms of international investments for cooperation. And I think these investments should be provided to a country and freely and autonomously provided to a country. So I would like to detach these funds from the Stability Pact that exists in Europe. The Sahel area is an area where different member states can meet and discuss. And it is an area that obliges us to adopt a common foreign policy, measures and actions that should be concrete in order to create a foreign policy of the European Union. Last but not the least, the role of parliamentary diplomacy. I'm not telling to you this because of my role today, but I strongly believe in parliamentary diplomacy, and I strongly believe in it because we are facing a lot of instability around us. Governments change quickly and they have different structures and systems, such as those of the governments around the Mediterranean area. So the idea is that by developing relationships between the parliaments and between their representatives in diplomacy, we can actually closely bond and create links for the future. These relationships should involve both the majority and the minority stakeholders and players of politics in the light of this huge proliferation of organization involved in international cooperation that work on the same levels and sometimes don't reach their objectives. I think parliamentary diplomacy can give fruitful results in the European and African panorama by using memorandum of understanding or also regular meetings between the parliaments. The Italian Senate signed different agreements with Spain, Egypt, and Morocco, among others. I think that for our country, which is in a geographical position and in an historical stance that makes it at the core of these issues, this kind of policies, this kind of measures should be a priority. So I hope to conclude my speech with the Soran Metehan sentence about our community of destinies. Thank you.